Okay. So, hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 20th of July 2023. And in today's discussion, we have included many topics for the prelims exam. Some topics are for the mains exam, and also we have included many questions of prelims and mains exam. So, let us start the discussion of today's newspaper. So, these are the list of articles that we have covered in today's discussion. Some of these topics are important for the mains exam, some are important for the prelims exam, and these are the page numbers. Okay. So, in all we have covered 14 articles from today's newspaper. So, let us start the discussion on topic 1. Okay. So, this topic says more than court action, revisit the Indus Waters Treaty. Okay. So, this topic is related to Indus Waters Treaty, and we are going to discuss about this particular topic in detail. And this topic is important under international relations, that says bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interest. Okay. So, these are the, let us say, like importance of this particular topic. So, let us start the discussion. So, the name of the topic is more than court action, revisit the Indus Waters Treaty. Okay, we are going to discuss about it. So, the main thing that we are going to discuss in this article is the Indus Water Treaty. Indus Waters Treaty. This treaty was signed in 1960. Okay, Indus Waters Treaty was signed in 1960, and there were 3 parties to the treaty. One of the party was India, the other party was Pakistan, and the third party was the World Bank. Okay, the World Bank was the third party. So, this particular treaty, the Indus Water Treaty, was brokered, I mean, like, it was mediated by the World Bank. Okay. So, as per the Indus Water Treaty, the water of Indus River, right, it will be shared. Okay, water of Indus River will be shared between India and Pakistan. Okay, the waters of Indus water will be shared between India and Pakistan, and it will be shared according to, let's say, like, some clause of the Indus Water Treaty. So, Indus Water Treaty has, let's say, 2 clauses under it. One of it has Article 2 and it has Article 3. Okay, it has Article 3. The Article 2 talks about, like, proprietary rights of India. It talks about the proprietary rights of India related to some of the eastern Indus, eastern Indus waters. Okay. Then the second one, the Article 3 talks about the rights of Pakistan in the western Indus waters, and we are going to discuss about it in detail now. So, let us start the discussion related to, let's say, Article 2 and Article 3. Now, if I talk about Indus River, right. So, Indus River, let's say, like, this river comes like this, it flows through India and it flows through Pakistan. Some of the part of the Indus River, I mean, like, they flow towards India. Okay. Some river flows towards India and some flows through India to Pakistan. Okay. So, let us say, like, this is India and here we have Pakistan. Pakistan in the sense, like, in the western region, in the eastern side we have India and Pakistan. So, if I talk about the eastern rivers or western rivers, in western rivers, like, we have these 3 rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. Okay, western rivers we have 3. One of them is Indus, the other one is Jhelum, and the third one is Chenab. And if I talk about the eastern rivers, right, eastern, like, there are 3 rivers in the eastern side, they are Satluj, Ravi and Beas. Okay. Satluj, Ravi and Bias or Beas. Okay. So, these are the, let's say, 3 rivers that are flowing in the eastern direction. These rivers are flowing in the eastern direction. And these 3 rivers, okay, these 3 rivers, just a minute. these three rivers are flowing in the western direction, So the Article 2 of the Indus Water Treaty gives gives proprietary right to India, okay, it gives rights to India to utilize the water, okay, to utilize the water of these rivers, Satluj, Ravi, Beas, okay. So they are all, let's say, distributaries of Indus River, okay, distributaries and tributaries of Indus River. Apart from this, if I talk about western rivers, okay, about western rivers, it is mentioned in Article 3, of the Indus Water Treaty. Indus Water Treaty, in short I am writing IWT, okay, Indus Water Treaty, this thing. Now what has happened, all those rivers that are flowing through India and flowing to Pakistan, okay, so India and Pakistan both are known as riparian state, okay, in let's say geographical terms it is known as riparian state, okay, they are known as riparian states. What do we mean by riparian states? Riparian states means those countries, okay, or those states through which river passes, okay, those states that are located on the bank of rivers, they are known as riparian states. So India is a riparian state and Pakistan is also a riparian state. So India can be called as upper riparian state, okay, it can be called as upper riparian state, okay, India can be called as upper riparian. Then Pakistan can be called as, okay, Pakistan can be called as lower riparian state, okay, it can be called as lower riparian state. Why? Because it is located on the lower banks, okay, of the river. So this is the thing. Now here what has happened, in the Indus Water Treaty itself, the World Bank has mentioned, in the Indus Water Treaty it is mentioned, then those rivers that are passing through India and flowing to Pakistan, on those rivers also India does have certain rights. That rights includes the rights to, let's say, create hydroelectricity, okay, to generate, so India does have the authority to create hydroelectricity through establishing some dams in the Indus, in the Indus river basin, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab and all. And those rivers that are totally passing, through India, it does not go to Pakistan. So India has all the rights over it. So this is the Indus Water Treaty, okay. So after understanding about Indus Water Treaty, now let us understand what is the problem, okay, what is the problem in Indus Water Treaty. So we are going to discuss about the issue related to Indus Water Treaty, okay. So problems in Indus Water Treaty, problems in the sense, the problems that Pakistan has identified, okay, the problems that Pakistan has identified in the Indus Water Treaty. So Pakistan has, certain objections related to the establishments that India has done on those rivers that are flowing, through India to Pakistan. And India does have two hydroelectric, let's say, two hydroelectric projects. These are known as, the issue that they have mentioned is to run of the river projects, What are run of the river projects? These are those projects that are built, let's say a river is let's say flowing in this direction, right? On the river we are building something, okay, let's say we are building a we are generating hydroelectricity by building some dams, etc., okay, some dams. So Pakistan has problems with it. And what are those two run of the river projects? One of them is known as Kishan Ganga project, okay, Kishan Ganga, one of them is known as Kishan Ganga project. And this is this Kishan Ganga is a tributary of Jhelum. It is a tributary of river Jhelum, So tributary means a small river that adds water to a big river. Let's say like a river is flowing like this. Okay, let's say like this is Jhelum river, and another small river joins it. Okay, another small river joins it. Let's say this is Kishan Ganga. Let's say like this one is Kishan Ganga. So this Kishan Ganga is adding water to the main river, that is tributary, means like it is adding water to it. Okay, so one of the hydroelectric project is Kishan Ganga on Kishan Ganga river. Other is hydroelectric project on Chenab. Okay, the second one is hydroelectric project on river Chenab. Okay, so on these two, let's say, projects of India, Pakistan has some problems, and for, let's say, like getting a redressal on this issue, Pakistan has moved to Permanent Court of Arbitration. What it has done, it has moved to PCA. Okay, PCA stands for Permanent Court of Arbitration. So what has happened in the Permanent Court of Arbitration? Okay, so we are going to discuss about PCA. PCA stands for Permanent Court of Arbitration. It is known as Permanent Court of Arbitration. So PCA is not a court in the, let's say, like conventional sense, because it can be considered as an international organization. Okay, it can be considered as an international or intergovernmental organization. Okay, international intergovernmental organization. So the governments of different countries are member of this particular court. Okay, so Pakistan has moved to the Permanent Court of Arbitration for seeking redressal on those, let's say, hydroelectric projects that India has built on Kishan Ganga and on Chenab river. Okay, and India does have some objections related to the issue that Pakistan has raised, but the Permanent Court of Arbitration, like did not allow India's objection. Okay, it did not allow India's objections. Okay, didn't allow India's objection, means it has given, it has taken a decision in favor of Pakistan there. But the author is saying that, like, to resolve disputes related to water sharing, right, instead of moving to courts, the affected parties, the aggrieved party and the other party, and they can, let's say, resolve it mutually. They need to revisit the Indus Water Treaty itself. They do not need to go to courts for resolution of these things. Why the author feels so? The author feels so because of certain reasons. What are those reasons? The author says that, like there was a a paper published. Okay, there was a paper published. Paper means research paper published, and name of the paper is Water Policy. Okay, name of the paper is Water Policy, and this particular paper, okay, this particular paper was released by, right, an organization which is known as World Water Council. Okay, it was released by World Water Council. So the World Water Council says, right, like in this water policy report, it says that, like, when we talk about rivers, okay, when we talk about rivers, so the water that is flowing through the rivers, they are seasonal in nature. Seasonal. Okay, it means there is no constant, okay, there is no constant flow of water, constant flow and equal amount of water, flowing, means, like the amount of water that flows through rivers, it varies from season to season. And if a treaty is signed today, so in future, like the water course may vary, the the river course, I mean, like river course also changes, amount of water that flows through river, that also changes. So like there it is very difficult to find a constant thing. Okay, so the World Water Council says that the Indus Water Treaty provides only some element of predictability and certainty with regard to the future supplies of water of the riparian state, but it needs to incorporate mechanisms that allow flexibility to change in the quantity of water available for allocation among the parties. Okay, so it says the World Water Council says that Indus Water Treaty, it provides only some amount of predictability, like we cannot predict everything beforehand, because the amount of water that may flow after few years may vary, and this particular treaty was signed in 1960. Now we are in 2023. Now if we expect the rivers to be flowing in the same course with the same amount of water, that will not be right, because it changes over time. Okay, it changes over time. You understanding? So this is the thing. So for this, the author has suggested, in this article, the author has suggested one thing, that instead of going to permanent court of arbitration or courts, you need to revisit the Indus Water Treaty. Why revisit? Because after revisiting, you will understand that Indus Water Treaty lacks two important things. What are those two important things? It lacks, I mean I'm going to mention about them. It lacks two cardinal principles. Okay, it lacks two cardinal principles. What are those two cardinal principles? One of the cardinal principles says equitable and this reasonable utilization. It says equitable and reasonable utilization, ERU. And second cardinal principle says no harm rule. Okay, it says no harm rule. So what are these principles? What are these principles? The author says equitable and reasonable utilization allows the countries, let's say the amount of water that is flowing through rivers, that keeps on changing. So there should be some mechanism within the countries, there should be some mechanism in the Indus Water Treaty itself that allows for some kind of flexibility between the member countries, so that they can utilize the water. Okay, they can utilize the water in an equitable and reasonable manner. Okay, in an equitable and reasonable manner. And apart from this, there should be a no harm rule. In short, it is known as NHR, no harm rule. Means, let's say water is flowing from India to Pakistan. So India should have the responsibility, India has the responsibility that it does not harm let's say interest of Pakistan. So these are the things, I mean equitable and reasonable utilization. Second, no harm rule. These are the two international principles, and the author says that these two principles, okay, these two principles are customary. These two are customary international law. Okay, these are customary, these are part of customary international law, customary principles of international law. What do we mean by this? That these two principles are established principles in international law, and even if it is not mentioned in Indus Water Treaty, it should be considered it to be a part of it. So author suggests that we need to revisit the Indus Water Treaty, and we can, let's say, redraft also, or we can amend it, we can update it, or let's say we should consider it to be a part of it, equitable and reasonable utilization and no harm rule. And this will allow these countries to, let's say to have a good relationship, right? So why the author is suggesting all of it? Because author believes that India and Pakistan are no friendly nations to one another, means they are not friendly nations to one another, and despite being not friendly, still like this particular Indus Water Treaty which is in existence, that showcases that both these countries are senseful, okay, senseful, I mean like they are senseful and they can have, let's say, these kind of treaties among themselves. So author says like we need to revisit the Indus Water Treaty rather than going to permanent court of arbitration or any other court, okay. So this is the, let's say, viewpoint of the author, and the, like it says, these are part of customary international law, customary principles of international law, these are the things, okay. So this is all in this article. I hope you have understood all of it, right. With this we will move to the next topic, and let's also see whether like we have some questions on it. Okay, so we have included some maps also. You can see like this map showcases the Indus water and its tributaries, okay, Indus water and its tributaries. Like I have talked about the Beas river, Ravi river, Satluj river, then we have Indus, Jhelum, Chenab. So these rivers are part of the major Indus river, okay. So this Indus Water Treaty is mentioned over here. In your free time you can go through it and you can learn about this, okay. In your free time you can go through this. You can download this PDF from the description of this YouTube, let's say, video itself. So this is Indus river, and here like the mention of the rivers are there, okay, proper with proper maps. Now let us come to the next topic. This topic is again very important topic. It says a job and career right, the disabled cannot be denied, okay. So this topic is related to let's say right of the a job and career right, a job and career right that the disabled, okay, right, the disabled cannot be denied. Cannot be denied. So this is a very important topic. We need to read this topic thoroughly, because like there is a likelihood that questions may be asked from this topic either in prelims or in mains exam, okay. So in this article we are going to understand some important thing. One is the importance of, let's say, Article 16 of the Constitution of India, okay, Article 16 of the Constitution of India. In short, I have written COI. It means Constitution of India, okay, for our understanding only, okay. So in this article we are going to understand, okay. So this article talks about, right, let's say this article talks about prohibition of discrimination, okay, or providing equal opportunities, okay, equal opportunities to people, equal opportunities to people, all right, in matters of public employment, public employment or employment, right, employment, okay, in matters of employment in government or state, in short, okay. So Article 16 of the Constitution of India talks about providing equal opportunities, okay, to all people in matters of public employment, or like employment in government or let's say government sector. And it also talks about prohibition, okay, it talks about prohibition of discrimination in prohibition of discrimination only on the ground of, okay, only on the ground of religion, caste, race, sex, or let's say residence, place of residence, simply place of residence, etc. So this Article 16 of the Constitution of India talks about that, like, the government of India or state government should give equal opportunities to all in matters of public employment or in matters of employment in government sector. Okay. And apart from this, it also talks like, prohibition of discrimination in matters of public employment only on the ground of religion, race, religion, caste, race, sex, place of residence, etc. Okay. So this article is an enabling provision that allows, let's say, equal opportunity to all people of India. And this article is, applicable only to Indian citizens, okay, only to Indian citizens, only to Indian citizens, okay, or citizens of India, like that, or to Indians, okay, or to Indian nationals, okay. This is available to only Indian nationals. So in this article, the author has highlighted the issue of those people, okay. Author has highlighted the issue of those people who are disabled, okay, who are disabled. And the author talks about few cases also, and we need to understand about those cases to be able to understand this in detail, okay. So author says that, like, author mentions that justice delayed is justice denied. This is one of the proverb that, like, all of us, like, hear when it comes to cases, cases related to many things in our courts, right. So we talk about justice delayed is justice denied, right. And the author says that, like, we have this particular maxim, but still the justice is being delayed to the people who are disabled, Although the government of India has established, like, an act, the name of the act is, it says, the persons with disabilities. The name of the act is the persons with disabilities, okay, persons with disabilities, equal opportunities, protection of rights, okay, in bracket, equal opportunities. I am just writing this thing because it is an important, protection of rights, okay, protection of rights, and full participation, and full participation Act 1995, okay. So in this article, the author highlights about this particular act, which is the persons with disabilities, equal opportunities, protection of rights, and full participation Act. It is simply known as Persons with Disabilities Act, or in short it is known as PWD Act, okay, Persons with Disabilities, PWD Act 1995, okay, PWD Act 1995. So what is the importance of this particular act? This particular act was enacted by the government of India to nullify one of the judgment of the Supreme Court of India, and name of that particular judgment is known as Indra, okay, is Indra Sahni case, okay, Indira Sahni case. So to be precise, it is known as Indira Sahni etc. versus Union of India, okay, Indira Sahni versus Union of India. In short, I am just writing UOI. So in the Indira Sahni versus Union of India case, this the Supreme Court of India had disallowed, okay, it has disallowed reservation to, okay, it has disallowed reservation to SCs and STs. SCs means scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. To nullify this particular thing, the government of India has come up with this particular act, the Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunities, Protection of Rights, and Full Participation Act 1995, okay. So under this act, the government of India wanted to give reservation, okay, it wanted to give reservation to SCs and STs, okay, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. It wanted to give reservation to these people. However, there is Department of Personals and Training, okay, DOPT, okay. So in this article they mention about Department of Personnel and Training. The Department of Personnel Training has issued an order in 2005, and in that order it has also mentioned that along with SCs and STs, it will extend the benefit of reservation to persons with disabilities also, okay. It will extend the benefit of reservation to persons with disabilities as well. And under this particular act, which is Persons with Disabilities Act, the government of India had initially decided to give 3% reservation, okay, 3% reservation to disabled persons, okay, disabled persons, 3% reservation to disabled persons in class C and D, okay, jobs, in C and D jobs. But what has happened through the notification, right, the Department of Personnel and Training through a notification in 2005, they have also extended this particular benefit, 3% reservation to persons with disabilities in Group A and Group B, okay, in Group A and Group B jobs as well, okay, in Group A and Group B jobs as well. But the case that the author wants to highlight in this scenario, the author says that although these benefits were mentioned by Department of Personnel and Training in 2005, however, when it comes to giving reservation, right, there are two things. One thing is giving reservation at the time of appointment. For that 3% reservation is there, and also at the time of promotion, okay, at the time of promotion, here the author says for giving reservation at the time of promotion, the government of India did not implement it, okay, it did not implement the DOPT notification of 2005, and later on after few years the DOPT had itself withdrawn its own notification to, let's say, not provide 3% reservation to persons with disabilities in Group A and B jobs, okay, in Group A and B jobs. So this is the issue, and here the author says that these people are reaching to the court of law, and the court of law had taken a decision in one case, but in that case also, okay, the court of law, the Supreme Court of India has taken a decision. In that case also, the government of India did not implement it on time, and when these people, the aggrieved party, okay, they have mentioned name of the aggrieved party also, right, it is not that much important, it is Rajiv Gupta against the Union of India case 2008, okay. So I'll be writing it down for you so that those people who are interested for a detailed analysis, okay, that is Rajiv, R-A-J-I-V, Rajiv Gupta versus Union of India case 2008. So in that case, I mean the Supreme Court of India has given a verdict in favor of the persons with disabilities. The government of India was unable to implement it, so let's say they have reached again, and in that case the government of India, they had sought more time, and they said that this particular petition may be withdrawn because already an existing petition, right, in the name of another person is existing, which is Siddha Raju versus State of Karnataka and others. So that is Siddha Raju versus State of Karnataka and others. Okay. So Siddha Raju versus State of Karnataka. However, the author concludes that even we have the Persons with Disabilities Act, the courts, the adjudication is happening for a very long time, and it is amounting to justice delayed is justice denied. Okay, the author says that justice should be delivered at its fastest pace, and also the government of India, the government should be implementing it with spirit on the right time. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so that's the thing. So good evening everyone who has joined today's discussion. So you need to read this article. This article is important because here they have mentioned about Article 16 of the Constitution of India. They have talked about like reservation related matters. They have discussed about Indira Sahni versus Union of India case, and also there is mention of Persons with Disabilities Act 1995, and also like there are some important concepts related to it. So Article 16 is very important. It talks about equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. It also talks about let's say like prohibition of discrimination only on the basis of like some of the things like religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, or descent, or place of residence, etc. But at the same time there are many other things also as part of Article 16. And Article 16 of the Constitution of India does not prohibit the government of India from extending some affirmative action, okay, from giving some rights. Let's say like if I talk about reservation is given to certain sections, for example SC and STs. So this is known as affirmative action. It is also given to, let's say, persons with disabilities. Okay, so there are provisions under Article 16 of the Constitution of India itself, right, that enables this particular thing to the government. So that's all in this article. So with this, like let us move to the next topic. And before that, like we have a question for you to solve. It says, with reference to Persons with Disabilities Act, Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, consider the following statements. Number 1, it says the subject falls under list 2 of the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. Okay, you might be knowing that the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India talks about division of let's say like division of subject matters. When it like the list 1, okay, list 1 talks about those subjects on which the Union of India, the Union government or the central government, okay, has the authority to make laws. Okay, list 1 has those subjects on which the central government or Union government can make law. Then list 2 talks about the subjects on which the state governments can make law. Okay, this is also known as state list. Apart from this, we have another list which is list 3 that talks about, it is known as concurrent list. Concurrent means in this list, I mean like all the topics that are mentioned here, the state government as well as the union government has concurrent like authority to make laws. Okay, and in case of any, let's say, any dispute between them, the laws that are made by the central government or union government will prevail. Okay, so these lists are part of 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. Okay, 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. So the first statement, it says the subject falls under list 2 of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Second, it says Bihar was recognized as the best state in implementation of Access India campaign. So this Accessible India campaign is a campaign for promotion of rights of persons with disabilities. Okay, promotion of rights for the persons with disabilities. Third, the Union government is a party to the United Nations Convention, okay, to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Okay, so if we talk about the right answer, so like we have gone through some of the provisions that are mentioned in the government websites that says like this is the Persons with Disabilities Act. It talks about like it falls under list 2 of the let's say list 2 of the 7th schedule. Then it is not the state of Bihar. Okay, it is not the state of Bihar, it is some other state. We are going to discuss about that. So it says how many of the above statements is or are incorrect. This is also very important because we need to identify how many of these states are incorrect. Okay, so only one of these statements is incorrect, which is only one. Okay, so Rutu Mane has written something, Article 41 of Directive Principles of State Policy shall make effective provision for securing right to work, education, etc. Yes, so that's a part of, let's say, Article 41 of the Constitution, DPSP. It is known as Directive Principles of State Policy. So correct answer for this question is option A, and we have also given explanation for this let's say question. Okay, we have given explanation also. You can download the PDF and you can learn about it in your free time. Okay, go through the explanation in your free time. So with this, we have another topic. This topic is also very important. It is although a short topic, but the topic is important. It says missing numbers. Okay, missing numbers. A new review panel is good, but the center must trust its own data. So this topic is related to government policies and interventions for development in various sectors, and it is also an important topic for GS paper 3 under Indian economy. Okay, it is important for GS paper 2 as well as paper 3. So let's quickly discuss about this topic. Very short topic. Topic number 3. It says missing numbers. Okay, missing. Let's see missing numbers. So we are going to discuss about it. In this article, they have discussed about a new body which is going to be set up by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Okay, which ministry is establishing this body? Name of the ministry is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. In short, it is known as MOSPI. It is going to establish a body which is known as Standing Committee on Statistics. Okay, name of the body is Standing Committee on Statistics. Okay, Standing Committee, in short SCO, Standing Committee on Statistics. Okay, so Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation is going to establish this particular body, and this body is going to guide National Sample Survey Office. Okay, this body is going to, let's say, like, guide. It's going to provide guidance to the National Sample Survey Office. For what purpose? So that the National Sample Survey Office can come up with accurate and more reliable data, right, for something which is known as Household Consumption Expenditure Survey. This NSSO stands for National Sample Survey Office. It comes up with a, let's say, report which is known as Household Consumption Expenditure Survey. Household Consumption Expenditure Survey, right? And this particular survey is released by this organization NSSO every 5 years. Every 5 years there is a term also which is known as quinquennial. Okay, quinquennial survey, like that. Okay, Household Consumption Expenditure Survey. So recently, why the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has thought of establishing this body? Because before this body there used to be another body. That body is known as Standing Committee on Economic Statistics. Okay, there was a earlier body that was known as Standing Committee. Okay, Standing Committee on Economic Statistics. Economic Statistics. But this particular body had a very narrow mandate of looking for economic data only, right? For looking for economic data. Now the government of India is, like, formulating a committee, Standing Committee on Economic Statistics, which is going to have around 14 members. Okay, so it will have around 14 members, and they are going to guide the National Sample Survey Office to come up with this. Okay, and apart from this, why, like, government is thinking of this thing? Because, like, some of the members of the Economic Advisory Council, okay, members of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, okay, council to the PM, they have recently criticized, okay, the data which is published by National Sample Survey Office, right, and household consumption economic survey, household consumption economic survey. because one of those surveys was discarded by the government in 2017-18. Okay, so in 2017-18 one of those surveys was discarded. I mean, like, you know, that survey was not taken into account because these data were not reflecting the present day like scenario. Because like if we talk about the consumer price index, for calculation of consumer price index, the government of India uses a base year. Okay, it uses a base year of 2012. Okay, base year of 2012, and currently we are in 2023. At that point of time in 2012, the basket of goods that the consumers were using, that included many electronic items, for example cassettes, DVDs, CD players, etc. These are no longer being used by people. Okay, so those goods are still there in the basket. Okay, so recently some of the members, that includes Vivek Devroy also. Okay, Vivek Devroy. So he has, along with, like, you know, some of his colleagues from the Economic Advisory Council, they have criticized the data which is released by the NSSO, citing that, like, you know, the CPI data that they release, they have a base year of 2012, and these base year have basket of goods that are no longer relevant and they need to update it. Okay, so that's why the government has taken a proactive, let's say, like, you know, step. Proactive in the sense they have taken a reactive step, I would say, right, to come up with this particular standing committee on economic statistics. This committee will be headed by a person, his name is Pranab Sen, and he is the first chief statistician officer of India. Okay, first chief statistician, like chief statistics officer of India. So this is all about this particular topic. In your free time you can, let's say, like, you know, go through the article as well. So with this, let us move to the next topic quickly. And before that, we have another question for you. It says, with reference to National Sample Survey Office, we discussed about this office in the previous article, right? So consider the following statements. They have given two statements and we need to identify which of the above statements are correct. One statement, it says NSSO comes under the statistics wing of the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Second, NSSO is part of program implementation wing of NSO. Okay. Now, in the first part, they have asked about NSSO comes under this particular like, you know, statistics wings of the Ministry of Program and Implementation. Again, they have talked about NSSO itself. It says it is a part of the program implementation wing, okay, of the National Statistical Office. We need to identify which of the statements are correct. Okay, so the first statement is correct, second statement is incorrect, because like it is not the program implementation wing, instead it is the statistics wing. Okay, so let's see the solution in this question. Okay, statement 1 is correct, so option A is the right answer that we have discussed. Okay, option A is the right answer. You can go through the solution in your free time. Then let us quickly move to the next topic now. This is another topic. This topic is important for the prelims exam. So this is part of PT pointers. PT pointers. This is just for your understanding, a quick news item. So India climbs 7 points to 80 on passport index. Okay. Singapore at top position. So if we talk about passport index, this index is known as Henley passport index. Okay, it is known as Henley. Okay, Henley. Okay, Henley passport index. So in the Henley passport index 2023, India came at 80th position. Okay, India came at 80th position. And which country has topped in this particular index, Henley passport index? It was Singapore. So what is this index all about? This index says, it talks about that, like, you know, all those destinations where a passport holder of the country can visit without a visa. For example, I am an Indian, I want to visit some other country. Do I need a visa or not? Okay, if I don't need a visa, if I directly can travel, okay, without taking a prior visa. I mean, like I can directly travel to that particular destination. Let's say from India I want to move to, let's say, Bangladesh, or I want to move to some other country, okay, Bangladesh or some other country. So do I need a prior visa? It's not needed in all cases. Like I can directly move to that country, and later on like I can be given visa on arrival. Means I will reach there and they will provide me visa, okay. There are also concept of a staple visa. I mean, like, I will go to that country with my passport, they will staple the visa there after I reach there. So a passport of a country that allows, its citizens to travel like to as many destinations as possible, that will be, ranked on the top. So Singapore's, like using Singapore's passport, a person can visit to around 100, 97 around, okay, 197 destinations out of 227 destinations, okay. So that's the topmost index. And so India has come an 80th position, and there are many other countries that had come on different positions. And this Henley Passport Index is released by, by an this Henley and Partners, okay. It is released by Henley and Partners, okay. So this is about this passport, okay. This passport index talks about that if you have passport of a particular country, using that passport, how many destinations you can go without a prior visa, okay. That's the thing. So they have also mentioned about like what is the ranking of USA, then like ranking of UK, ranking of Canada, ranking of France. All of it you can read it over here, okay, in your free time. Then we have another topic. It says personal law board should be taken into confidence on UCC. UCC stands for Uniform Civil Code, okay. Earlier, like, India was at 87th rank, in the earlier edition, but now India has reached to 80th position, means like India has jumped 7 position up. But like, India was not at very bad position earlier. India was also like, at a better place than now itself, but like, it has slipped also earlier, okay. So yes, so Ritu Mane, yes, India has risen 7 position as of now. This topic says personal law board should be taken into confidence on UCC. You might be knowing UCC stands for Uniform Civil Code. This Uniform Civil Code is mentioned in Article 44 of the Constitution of India. Article 44 of the Constitution of India. So it's a part of Directive Principles of State Policy. So this Directive Principles of State Policy says that the state should strive to implement Uniform Civil Code. However, in the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, the government of India is facing many challenges. What are those challenges? The challenges are that various religious communities, they have their own personal laws when it comes to, let's say, topics like marriage, okay, topics like marriage, adoption, inheritance, okay, marriage, adoption, inheritance, okay, and this divorce, etc., okay, divorce, etc. So many personal laws, I mean, like, most of the communities, be it Muslims, be it Hindus, Christians, Jews, they have their own personal laws that deal with these matters. And if government of India wants to implement Uniform Civil Code, they need, in this article they say that, like, these should be done by the personal law boards first, and then the government of India should think of implementing, okay. So that's the thing. This is just an article recently, like, this particular person, like Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy, like he has met with some of the, let's say, like, Muslim people in his state, and like he has come up with this particular thing. So in your free time you can read about it. The Uniform Civil Code is a big topic, big debate, and like, every day it comes in news, and we have also discussed it in detail in our previous discussions. So today we are going to discuss like what is there in the article. Now this article says online abuse among college students, okay. This article is written by one author. She is a Fulbright scholar and cyber harassment expert, okay. she has mentioned that many students who are studying in higher educational institutes, okay, who are studying in higher educational institutes, or it can be considered as institutes of higher education, okay, institute of higher education. So many students who are studying in institutes of higher education have faced, right, a kind of violence which is known as technology facilitated, okay, technology facilitated sexual violence, okay. I am going to mention it. It says technology facilitated, okay, main idea is sexual violence, TFSV, okay. Many students who are studying in higher institutes of higher education, so they are facing this particular challenge. And recently the author has mentioned that she has met, like, some girls from higher educational institutes, and 72% of those girls, right, they have mentioned that they have faced technology facilitated sexual violence at some point of time, and many a case like they chose not to report it, okay, not to report it, okay, not to report it. And they have, like, what do we mean by this technology facilitated sexual violence? It means, let's say, like, there can be a person, like, let's say there is a male person and there is a female person. This male person, or let's say some rival of the female person, she can be another female person, she may use image of the female person, and she can morph that image. Morph means, like, she can add the face of one person in the image or body of the other person, right, from the internet, and they may circulate, let's say, like, some nude images and all, or videos, right, in the internet, in the name of anonymity. I mean, like, they can maintain anonymity, they can create an online profile using some disguised name and all, and they can circulate this thing. So this amounts to technology facilitated sexual violence, and this thing has to be stopped. How this can be stopped? It can be stopped through multiple mediums, it can be stopped through multiple channels. What are those multiple channels or medium, like, through which it can be stopped? They can be in the nature of, let's say, like, making the social media platforms, okay. In this article the author has mentioned especially 2-3 platforms. One of the platform is WhatsApp, other the author that has mentioned is Facebook, other is Instagram. So these are some of the platforms on which, like, this particular thing is having, like, occurring at its most, at its peak. Although it is occurring in other social media platforms also, but these are some of the peak. And the author has suggested that, like, she has spoken with many students of higher educational institutes, and they have suggested that, like, in the college itself there can be some ways for the student to report it in the college, okay, to report, right. So, like, in this article they have mentioned many ways, and also they have, mentioned about instituting an internal complaints committee. What? Establishment of internal complaints committee. Internal complaints committee, ICC, inside, okay, internal complaints committee inside the institutes of higher education. And the author says, although, like, this particular internal complaints committee is present in many of these institutes, but these committees are sometimes formed, sometimes deformed, and the members keep on changing. So there is no, let's say, like, proper provisions that are available. There is nothing of, let's say, solid nature, that makes the internal complaints committee to function well, okay. So these are the things that have been mentioned in the article, and the author says that with access to internet fast becoming a basic human need, sexual violence facilitated using technology is an issue that requires our immediate attention. Okay, it requires our immediate attention, and we need to look for solutions to this particular aspect. Okay, so it is technology facilitated sexual violence. So with this, like, we came to another topic. This topic is again important. We have discussed about this topic many a times. It says, what are the takeaways from the NATO summit? Okay, so recently there was a summit of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was a 2-day summit, and in that 2-day summit, I mean, like, one of the country, Turkey, it has, let's say, lifted its ban for membership of Sweden. Okay, soon after USA has lifted ban, Turkey has also lifted ban for membership of Sweden. And it also talks about that Ukraine wants to get the membership of Turkey, but however, like, membership of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. However, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization is not including Ukraine, as fast, because there are some countries who are opposing its membership. Okay, not because the moment the North Atlantic Treaty Organization includes Ukraine as its part, then the war that is happening between Ukraine and Russia will become a war of NATO, Ukraine and Russia, and that will lead to World War III, and many people are not in favor of having any World War III. And also, Russia is a nuclear weapon state. I mean, many countries are also worrying about, let's say, taking any step or stand against Russia. Okay, so this is what is being written in this article. We have discussed about this topic in detail, right, in our previous editorial topics. Okay, so you can read it to understand about the present, let's say, like, presently what is happening. Okay, so this North Atlantic Treaty Organization was formed for the first time through a treaty which is known as Washington Treaty. This Washington Treaty established the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 1949, and at that point of time there were 12 member countries of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Later on, slowly and gradually, right, it has increased its membership, and the Article 10 of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization says that the membership can be extended to the other European countries also, and as of now there are 31 countries that have joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. One country has recently joined, it is Finland. Okay, Finland is the 31st member of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So with this, like, we will move to another topic quickly. Okay, I did not take that topic for elaborate discussion because that has been discussed earlier also, right? You need to watch the previous lectures, right, to understand this well. Now, it says Supreme Court agrees to list pleas to criminalize marital rape before three judge bench. Now, so let's discuss about this topic. Supreme Court agrees to list pleas, okay, criminalizing marital rape. Okay, before three judge bench. Now, so let's discuss about what is marital rape. Generally, like, let's say, like, there is a married couple. Okay, so generally married couple, they cohabit. Cohabit means they live together. Okay, they live together, and during this process they do have consensual, okay, they do have consensual intercourse also. consensual intercourse. But if I talk about the present law that is in place, okay, so between husband and wife, okay, between husband and wife, this consensual intercourse is existing, like it exists, and sometimes the husband may force, okay, may force the wife for this particular thing even without her will, and the courts want to list it. I mean, like, you know, people have approached the Supreme Court of India for considering it to be a criminal offense, to consider it to be a criminal offense and consider it as rape, okay. And recently the Karnataka High Court, some of the high courts have, okay, in this article itself they have mentioned that recently the Karnataka High Court had like, you know, taken a decision that, like, you know, be it man or like man is man, act is act, like, you know, they have mentioned something, okay, they have mentioned that man is man and all, and they have said that, like, you know, it is it amounts to rape whether they are married or not, okay, if it is done, like, let's say, like forcefully, okay. So, and also there is a thing that is going on to make it gender neutral. Earlier it was considered to be, let's say, a rape of the women only, okay, not of male, but recently, like, you know, this thing is also happening that if the wife is forcing this particular thing, so the man can go to the police and, like, you know, register a complaint against wife related to rape. And so this particular thing is mentioned like, you know, in section 375, okay, section 375 of Indian Penal Code, okay, section 375 of Indian Penal Code, okay, this is mentioned. So it says exceptions to section 375 of Indian Penal Code decriminalizes marital rape and holds that sexual intercourse by a man with his own wife who is not under 18 years of age without her consent is not rape, okay. So there are some exceptions also, okay. So there are two exceptions. Second exception says section 75 of the IPC says, like, you know, if there is a man, husband and wife, so in that case the forceful intercourse, okay, sexual intercourse will not amount to be a rape if the wife is above the age of 18 years, okay. So this is all, like, you know, here, and Karnataka High Court has upheld it, said that it can be considered as a criminal offense. But Delhi High Court, there was a split verdict. There were two judges. One judge has taken decision in favor of criminalizing this activity. Other judge, okay, other judge, I mean, like, in Delhi High Court, he has taken a decision in favor of, let's say, like, you know, this existing provision of IPC section 375. And this case has been taken to the, let's say, by the Karnataka government, I mean, like, you know, to the Supreme Court. I mean, like, it is now in the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India has said that, like, we are going to form a 3-judge bench to look into this particular issue, okay. So, like, it is a thing which is like, which will be in, I mean, like, in news for some time, because hearing may happen related to this case. This is an ongoing development. With this we came to another topic. It says India supports United Nations on Black Sea Initiative, okay. India supports United Nations on Black Sea Initiative. So we are going to understand about what is Black Sea Initiative, which is in short known as Black Sea Grain Initiative. So India voiced support for UN's effort to continuing the Black Sea Initiative and expressed hope for an early resolution to the impasse. Russia on Monday. So let's discuss about this thing. So in short, I will be writing this as Black Sea Initiative, okay. What is this? Black Sea Initiative. It is also known as Black Sea Grain Initiative. And what is this initiative all about? Let's discuss about this thing. Let's discuss about current things also, okay. The context is, like, India has shown its support, okay. India has shown its support to the United Nations for continuing, okay, for continuing the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Black Sea Grain Initiative. This Black Sea Grain Initiative is technically known as Initiative on the Safe Transportation. Okay, so I am going to write about this initiative. Initiative on the Safe Transportation. Okay, Initiative on the Safe Transportation of grain and foodstuffs, of grain and foodstuffs. Foodstuffs from Ukraine ports. From Ukraine ports. This is the official name of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Okay, what is the official name? I am repeating again, Initiative on the Safe Transportation of Grain and Foodstuffs from Ukraine ports. And this particular initiative has, like, some of the members. Who are the members of this particular initiative? Okay, if I talk about the members of the Black Sea Grain Initiative, one of the member is Russia, the other member is Turkey, the third member is Ukraine, and the fourth member of it is United Nations organization. Okay, fourth member is United Nations. Okay, so these are the members of Black Sea Grain Initiative. Recently what has happened, like, if we see the map, right, let's say, like, this is Black Sea, and let's say Russia is located here, Ukraine is located here, and here we have Sea of Azov. Okay, Sea of Azov. Okay, Sea of Azov. And between these two seas we have a narrow passage of water. Okay, narrow channel of water that connects these two water bodies. This is known as, this particular narrow channel of water is known as Strait of Kerch. Okay, it is known as Strait of Kerch. And recently what has happened, on the Strait of Kerch there was a bridge. Okay, there was a bridge which is known as Kerch Bridge, and on this bridge there was a drone attack. Okay, on this bridge there was a drone attack, and because of this particular attack the bridge has sustained many damages, lot of damages, and the traffic on both the sides have halted. And just after that Russia has announced that it is going to unilaterally withdraw itself from the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Okay, which initiative? Black Sea Grain Initiative. And Russia was a member of this particular initiative. Now United Nations organization wants to, okay, it wants to, let's say, continue this particular initiative, and India has showed support to United Nations for continuing the Black Sea Grain Initiative. I hope it is clear, the picture is clear to all of you. Now, so with this, let's take a question on this topic, and we are also going to see map of Black Sea. Okay, we are going to see map of Black Sea. Let's discuss this question. It says, with reference to Black Sea, consider the following statements. Okay, this question is on Black Sea, and there is a probability that UPSC may ask a question in prelims related to mapping on, okay, mapping on Black Sea. Okay, mapping on where? Black Sea. Okay, mapping on Black Sea. So let's talk about this topic. The Black Sea is a marginal Mediterranean sea of the Atlantic Ocean. Second, it is bounded by Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, Russia and Georgia. Means these are the countries that are surrounding the Black Sea. Okay, Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, Russia and Georgia. Both these statements are correct in this question. So option would be, which of the above statements are correct? Both these statements are correct. Okay, so we have given the solution also to this question. Like in the same PDF, you can download this PDF and go through the solution. So now here we see the name of member countries. One of the member country, member country means a country that surrounds the Black Sea, is Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, Turkey. Okay, so how many countries do we see? Bulgaria is one country, Romania second country, Ukraine third country, Russia fourth country, Georgia fifth country, Turkey sixth country. Okay, these are 6 countries that are surrounding the Black Sea. Okay, so are these countries mentioned? Yes, these countries are mentioned. Okay, so Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, Russia and Georgia. Okay, so 6 countries are mentioned. So all these 6 countries surround the Black Sea. Okay, so this is the thing, and here you see Sea of Azov is there on this map itself, right? If you see to the top of this map, we have the mention of Sea of Azov, and this is the Kerch Strait, narrow channel of water that connects Sea of Azov with Black Sea. Okay, so there was an attack on this particular thing. Okay, and now Ukraine wants to continue this particular initiative. However, Russia has said that it is not going to continue this. This is the solution to this question. You can go through the explanation in free time. This is again a very important topic, very short topic. Okay, so this is a very short topic. We are going to discuss about it. Like Rutu Mane, you have answered the question, but like 2 is right, also 1 is also right. Okay, so that's the thing. Let me just cross check. Yeah, 1 is also right, both are right. So this, it says MSF asks Johnson & Johnson not to enforce any patent on TB drugs. Okay, MSF stands for Medicine Sans Frontiers. Okay, so in this article we are going to talk about a medicine. This is a very important topic. It may be, okay, MSF asks Johnson & Johnson, like that. Okay, I have just mentioned this much. So we are going to discuss about this particular topic. So in this article they have discussed about one organization which is in short known as MSF. MSF stands for Medicine Sans Frontier. Okay, it stands for Medicine Sans Frontiers. Okay, Frontiers. Medicine Sans Frontiers. It is also known as Doctors Without Borders. Okay, it is also known as Doctors Without Borders. This organization is known as Doctors Without Borders. So this particular organization has talked to the Johnson & Johnson. Okay, Johnsons and Johnsons. So this Johnsons & Johnsons is a, let's say, company that makes like medical drugs, and they have made one drug which is known as bedaquiline. Okay, bedaquiline. Okay, this is, let me see the spelling, BEDAQUILINE. Okay, bedaquiline. So what is this bedaquiline? Bedaquiline is a life-saving drug resistance tuberculosis. Okay, bedaquiline is a life-saving drug resistant tuberculosis or TB, right? life-saving drug resistance, DRTB drug, or it is a medicine. Okay, this bedaquiline is a cancer medicine. Okay, cancer, for treatment of cancer. Okay, for treatment of cancer patients. This is a very important medicine. So this particular medicine has completed 20 years of its patent. Okay, 20 years of its patent in 18th of July. Okay, 18th of July 2023. You might be knowing, like any drug which is patented, the period of patent is 20 years. Okay, so it is given patent for about 20 years time period, and this particular drug, which is bedaquiline, okay, this drug is a life-saving drug for treatment of cancer patients, and it's like 20 years has expired. Now this particular organization, which is Doctors Without Borders, or MSF, like these are same organization in different names. I mean, like this is written in English, this is written in, I guess, in French. Okay, so this is the thing. So this organization said, Johnson & Johnson, that like you should not get the patent renewed by bringing some changes over it. Allow those countries that have huge prevalence of tuberculosis to use this particular medicine as a generic medicine. Okay, you might be knowing that generic medicines are those medicines. Okay, generic medicines are those medicines for which the patent period has expired. Let's say like Johnson & Johnson got its bedaquiline patented after doing R&D and making it as a medicine. They have got it patented, and they had the patent right over this particular medicine for about 20 years. And for 20 years it has been, let's say, receiving royalty, it has been making profit out of this drug. Now this drug should be available as a generic medicine to the people, so that people can purchase this medicine at low cost. Okay, so that like low cost treatment of cancer can happen. So that's why the Doctors Without Borders have like asked this particular company and also asked the US government to look for this particular aspect, that like this medicine should not be renewed as a patent. I mean, like this should be allowed, and all those companies that are making generic medicines like from bedaquiline, they should be allowed to make it, and like without suing, without, let's say, filing a case against them. So this was the, I mean, like step that was set by the Doctors Without Borders organization. So for this, like I do have a question for you. It says means practice question. You can solve this question and share it with us. Tuberculosis remains a significant issue in India despite several regulations. Discuss and provide solutions to tackle the burden of tuberculosis. Okay. After writing this, you share your answer copies with us at evaluation@lukmaanias.com. Okay, share your answer copy with us. We'll get it evaluated for you. Evaluation@lukmaanias.com. So with this, let us move to another topic. It says Putin will not travel to South Africa for BRICS summit. Okay, so there will be a BRICS summit in South Africa. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Okay, so these countries are members of the BRICS summit, and now Putin is not going to visit like this South Africa for BRICS summit, because like Putin or Russia is in a state of war kind of situation with Ukraine. Maybe that may be one of the reason that like Putin is not visiting there. So this is just a, let's say, like political development related to international organization. Okay, so recently like we are having G20 presidency. India is having G20 presidency, and like Putin had attended G20 summit last year virtually, but like so this is just a, let's say, like new development on this topic. There is not much to discuss about it. You should be knowing that BRICS is a kind of international group of 5 member countries. Okay, 5 member countries. This is another topic we are going to discuss it. It says millions hit by extreme heat on 3 continents. Okay, so you might be knowing heat wave. Heat wave means like when the temperature suddenly rise beyond our normal level. So that is known as heat wave, and we do have, let's say, heat wave in general, and we also have urban heat islands or urban heat wave also. Okay. So recently the heat wave have, let's say, affected 3 continents. What are those continents? One of the continent is Europe, right? One continent is Europe, then other continent, like, they have mentioned that, and also because of heat wave, the temperature has risen very sharply, and it led to something known as forest fires also. Okay, it led to forest fires. Forest fires means wildlife, wildfires. So these fires happen in forests. So this is just an article related to heat wave. So in your free time, you need to understand about definition of heat wave. Like, for those people who have geography optional, they might have studied it well, and also related to disaster management, you study about, like, what are heat waves, like what is the condition for classifying a temperature rise to be a heat wave. Okay. So this question says, what do you understand by heat wave? Discuss the impacts of heat wave. Okay. So write this answer in 150 words, and it will be a 10 marker question. Okay, it will be a 10 marker question or 10 marks question. Okay. So this is another question for mains. You can practice this question in your free time. So with this, we'll take another topic. This is an interesting topic, very short topic. It may be helpful for the prelims exam, but we are going to discuss about this topic. It says, Congress brings bill promising minimum income in Rajasthan. So in the Rajasthan state, in the state of Rajasthan, now Congress party is in power, and they have come up with a bill. Bill means like it has to go to the state legislature. Once it is passed, then it will become an act, and that act will give, like, minimum guarantee for people for having income. And so you might be knowing, under MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment, Guarantee Act, right? Under that MG Narega, those rural households who complete 100 days of work under MG Narega in rural areas, they will be given additional 25 days of, let's say, work for rural households under this particular bill. And also a total of 125 days of guaranteed work for registered urban households. Okay, for urban households also they will give 125 days of guarantee of work to the urban households. And it says, if the government is failing, if the government fails to provide employment within 15 days when the demand was made, the applicant will be entitled to receive unemployment allowance. Let's say I, as a citizen, if I stay in the state of Rajasthan, and if I do not have any job, then I can apply for a job, I can apply for work, in the government of Rajasthan. And if they do not provide me work for 15 days, after then they are going to give me, unemployment allowance. So it's a kind of, let's say, social guarantee. Okay, it's a kind of social income guarantee. And every person falling in the category of old age, especially abled, widow or single women with prescribed eligibility is entitled to a pension under this act. So under this act, there is a provision of pension also for those people who are old age, who are widow, who are single women and all. And pension shall be increased at the rate of 15% per annum. And they are going to start the pension with 1000 rupee a month, okay, initially. So, and it will automatically increase by 15% every year. So this is a very important legislation that talks about, let's say, social security. It can be considered as a social security scheme, okay, social security scheme of the state of Rajasthan, okay, social security scheme. So this is different from universal basic income. You might have heard about the term universal basic income. Okay, so that government of India was thinking of establishing, and universal basic income was also mentioned in one of the economic surveys, I guess, in the year of 2016. Okay, now this is little different. This is again another topic. This is an important topic. It says the Election Commission hearing in Guwahati on draft delimitation proposal. Okay, so let's discuss about this thing. Election Commission on delimitation proposal. Okay, hearing means like I have just written it short. First of all, we need to understand about Election Commission. The Election Commission of India is a constitutional body. Okay, it is a constitutional body that has autonomy. Okay, it is an it has autonomy in let's say conducting the elections in for the central government. Okay, for the central government and state government The Election Commission of India as of now has 5 members. Okay, it has 5 members. One of the member is Chief Election Commissioner. Okay, Chief Election Commissioner. Then we have 4. Okay, then we have 4 election commissioners. Okay, 4 election commissioners as part of the let's say Election Commission of India. And what do we mean by delimitation? Now let us understand about the concept of delimitation. Delimitation means drawing boundary. Okay, it means drawing boundary for establishing constituencies. Okay, for establishing constituency boundary means like constituency for Lok Sabha elections or state legislative assembly elections. Okay, or state legislative assembly elections. Okay, so delimitation commission is set up by the Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India sets up delimitation commission. Why? For drawing boundaries, to redraw the boundary of some of the constituencies where they think that some population shift has happened. Why they redraw the boundary, why they do set up the constituencies. The delimitation is done for one important purpose, and that purpose is that there should be equal representation. Equal representation means equal number of votes. Okay, equal number of votes for, or equal population, I would say, not vote, to cover equal population in various constituencies for state legislative assembly elections. Okay, and general election. General election means the Lok Sabha election. Okay, general election. Equal population means so that let's say now they have formulated a delimitation commission for the state of Assam. So in the state of Assam they have 14 Lok Sabha seats. Okay, so they will draw boundary in such a manner that in each seat the election happens for getting vote from equal number of people. They will be drawing boundaries in such a manner that each constituency will have equal population. Some constituency may be big in size that have, let's say, less population density, and some constituency may be small in size that has more population density. But what they want to do, they want to equalize the number of people, number of voting age people. So as of now, if I talk about how many times the delimitation commission was set up by the Election Commission of India, so far it has been set up 4 times. First in 1952, second in 1962, third in 1972, and this is the present one. Okay, there may be some other details also related to delimitation commission, but as of now, we will not go into so much detail about understanding this. So recently what has happened, Election Commission of India is going to hear let's say here related to delimitation commission. So like initially there was a delimitation commission set up, and like they have asked for objections if people have objection. So they have received around 780 objections from different stakeholders, and they are going to, let's say, hear this matter for 3 days, and after then they are going to resolve the issue, okay, related to setting up delimitation commission. So with this, like, we will move to another topic. I hope like you have understood this topic well. We have a question also for you. This question says, with reference to Election Commission of India, consider the following statements. One of the statements says, ECI is an autonomous constitutional authority administrating union and state election process in India. This is right. Second, Part 15 of the Indian Constitution deal with elections. This is also right. The President appoints Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners. Okay, there are 4 election commissioners like that. So this is the thing. Then the Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from office only through a process of removal like that of a Supreme Court judge. You might be knowing, for removal of a judge of a Supreme Court, there is a process that, like, some inquiry has to happen, through the Parliament of India, and then that inquiry report should be tabled, and after then, like, 2/3 majority is required. So lot of, like, procedures are in place for removal of a judge of the Supreme Court of India. And so far, since, let's say, India became an independent nation, none of the judges of the Supreme Court of India has been removed from his office. Okay, there was one motion for removal of a judge, and that too was, let's say, like, that too could not be passed. So in this question, all the 4 statements are right. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Correct answer for this question would be option D. Option D would be the right answer. So you can go through the solution in your free time to understand more, right? More details related to this. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's discussion. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.